If a business partner is great at what you're great at, one of you is unnecessary. You're looking for the yin to your yang.
For a business partner, they have to be as excited about the business as I am. I am never going to be in a business for cash. I love money. I want money, but they have to be interested in the business.
Comfort is the opposite of progress. If you're comfortable, you will not make a great developer.
I know, I agree. What have you done as a leader that you just are ashamed of?
Welcome back to the Trainwreck Show. I'm Perry Belcher, your host, master marketer, AI geek, and the worst guitar player in the state of Texas. Here with the operations dominatrix, Emma Rainville. No whips and chains today, just another blue shirt.
I like blue.
Doesn't the blue look nice with the green? Emma probably would say yes. I'm glad you're here today. We're ready for a good show. I have no idea what Emma's going to ask me today. She's got some sneaky peek questions, and she won't let me take notes. She won't let me know what she's going to ask me. She thinks she's going to stump.
They're easy questions. That's why I didn't want to go over them. We're taking some questions that you guys have sent into trainwreckshow.com. We're actually making a few episodes out of it. Today, I have 4 specific questions. 2 were asked of Perry. 2 were asked of Emma. We're both going to answer both because I thought it would just be fun to see our different answers.
I'll give you some great operations advice.
None of them are operations.
Good.
All the questions
My answer would be dirt.
All the questions that I picked could be. That's not true. He's one of those people that let me put bleach in the washing machine so I never have to do laundry again. Operationally, he's actually really smart. When I get stumped, I do call him. He just doesn't like it.
She's screwing the whole freaking show up. She was nice to me. She's not supposed to be nice to me. How can you have a train wreck show and you're nice? I got to work that out of you. It doesn't take much of it.
Yeah. It doesn't. It goes 0 to 60 in about a millisecond. But today I took some stuff that's like leadership and partnerships and kind of put those questions together. So I picked 4 questions. We're going to answer each of them, one from Perry's perspective and one from Emma's. The first question, Perry, is what do you look for in a business partner?
Oh my gosh. Lots of money I can waste. No.
Not previously. What have you learned?
I never take money for the business partners. That's the booger. They always take money from me. Well, at a core, if a business partner is great at what you're great at, one of you is unnecessary, right? So you're definitely looking for the yin to your yang. What do I look for in a business partner? Somebody who does something really well and doesn't sell it well. That's me.
Yes.
I'm operationally uninterested. I can operate a business. You put a gun to my head, I can operate a business. If I had to eat, I can operate a business. I'm in a privileged position right now because I've been around a long time. I made a lot of money. I don't have to operate businesses anymore. I can just come up with groovy ideas, figure out how to sell the thing, and then, hey, Emma, I do, hey, Emma. That should be your website. It should just be, hey, Emma. I just, hey, Emma.
You're the only person I let do that.
Here's the wrench, as she says. And someone else will operate the business for me. But it's really ideal for me if I'm going to be a business partner with someone. I don't need another marketer. I don't need another sales guy. I don't need another ideas person. I need someone who executes well. If I just need somebody that executes well on my plan, I'll just hire someone. If I'm looking to be a business partner with someone, I'm looking for someone who's already figured out a thing to do. It's working. I love to say it's working in spite of them. The business is working to some level, even though I can look at it in 5 minutes and say, you've missed the avatar, the aesthetics suck, the messaging is bland and basic, and you're still making money. And you're operating. Because the challenge for me is I tend to make things really big, really fast. And you would think that would be a blessing. But it's definitely a blessing and a curse. When you go in...
Your counterpart has to be good at operations and scale.
Really good. I've went into businesses before. We bought a water filtration company. I talk about it a lot because it's a great example. The business went up 400 and something % within a matter of 3 months. And we almost bankrupted the thing. We didn't realize we had all kinds of operational challenges until it got tested by fire. It was operationally okay running at a $2 million level. When it went to an $8 million tracking within 30 days, it wasn't ready for $8 million.
Right.
The wheels fell off the bus and springs busted out of the engine and everything else that could go wrong happened.
That was pre-Emma days for those of you.
Yeah, there's definitely pre-Emma days. And it worked out eventually, but it was never a successful company. And frankly, we sold it back to the original founders because they were very uncomfortable with the growth. When you take a company, you got to have somebody that already does something well. You do it very well, but you don't know how to sell it. But you are willing to listen, to take on the pains of growth, because I'm not going to get involved in the business if I can't grow the business, clearly. And if I grow the business, there's going to be growing pains. Every business that grows has growing pains. Every single solitary one. And let me tell you, they're ugly, especially if you're going between $2 million and $10 million, which is always my path. I love to get involved with businesses that are doing $1 million to $2 million a year, and then get them to 10 million. And oftentimes I can do that in a calendar year if they can stand it. If it's a matter of whether or not they can stand the heat.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of heat, and it's painful, and it's not very profitable. You may not make any more money at $8 million than you made at $2 million, and you may make less. When
you likely will make less.
When you get to 10, you've been through a chasm where money starts freeing up, and then you'll start working toward the next chasm, which is 20, and the next chasm that's 50. And I don't go to the 50s. I roll out in the 20s. I love to come into a company in the $1 to $3 million range, drive it into the 20s, and sell. That's Perry D in a nutshell right there. That's exactly what I enjoy doing. And I'm really good at that. I know my wheelhouse. Emma can take your company 50, 100, $200 million operationally if you're a great visionary entrepreneur that's a great product creator. We have different skill sets. It's not fun to me at that point either, by the way.
Yeah. You have a lot more fun from 1 to 8, I think, is where you really get the most excited. For me,
I can have a dozen of those, which is cool.
Right.
Yeah.
For me, what I look for in a business partner, similar to Perry, is he or she a yin to my... I don't think I could ever be in business with a woman, actually, so I'm just going to say, hey, you can hate me in the comments. I just don't vibe well with chicks. But we have a business together.
They're all a pain in the ass. That's why. I'm just kidding.
No.
I actually really like working with women. The best CEOs I've had have all been women.
All your C-suite is females. For a business partner, I definitely prefer male. We have a business together. We're writing a book together. I work with you in a lot of your companies on your C-suite team. But for me, for a business partner, I have a few. I don't really like 50-50. I actually learned that recently. We're 50-50 in our business. But overall, I think there should be someone who's responsible for the day-to-day of the business, and then there should be an advisory type role.
There's an amazing book called Slicing Pie. Have I told you about that? A great book. And it talks about how to divvy up equity.
Right.
And the first page of the book is 50-50 is never the answer.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that in some occasions, like the current business that we have together makes total sense to be 50-50. But on the average business, particularly where you have a yin and yang situation, one person's putting a lot more work in than the other. And so that's number one.
One decision maker at the end of the day.
I used to preach on if you're, you should be in unity on all your decisions. You shouldn't move forward. On the short term, sure. On the longevity of a business, it's just way too
There's
difficult.
never presidents of the United States. There's very rarely CEOs. That does happen. But it's very, very rare. There's usually one decision maker at the end of the day.
High-level decisions, whether we should take an owner distribution, sure, that can be a joint decision, but the day-to-day needs to be on one person. In any event, for a business partner, they have to be as excited about the business as I am, not just in it for cash. I am never going to be in a business for cash. It's not who I am. I love money. I want money. I want to make more money. I'm totally interested in more money. But they have to be interested in the business. They have to be excited about the business. The next thing is I want someone who is obsessed with growth. They need to be a reader. They need to be an avid learner. And they have to know and believe that they are not smart and they don't belong in every mastermind. That's so big for me. If you're in a mastermind and you think you belong, you can't be my business partner. I want you to feel like you don't belong. I want you to feel stupid, because that means that you're going to be driving to learn, because you know that we all are stupid. The world is changing and things are changing so quickly that if you're not obsessed about growth, personal growth, you're not going to stand out. You're not going to stand out, right? You're not going to be able to succeed. And I'm just not interested in taking that journey with someone who's not. Those are mine.
Those are good.
And really important to me. I've learned a lot over the past few years as far as business partners go, and that's big for me.
I can tell you a whole lot of stories about what kind of business partner you don't want.
Yeah. I'll take a lot of advice from you.
Turds there.
How to get out of a business partnership, sure. To get in one,
Which is an art.
I'm staying. It is.
Getting out business partnerships is it's an art.
Unfortunately, you're really good at that part, but getting into business relationships isn't a conversation I'm going to have with you.
Marriages.
Or marriages. Okay, I wonder if you'll tell the true story to this one, because I know it. What is your biggest leadership regret? I know this one. I doubt you're going to tell the true story.
Leadership regret?
What's your biggest regret as a leader? What have you done as a leader that you just are ashamed of?
God.
Or that you regret?
As a leader.
Did you ever kick someone that was employed by you?
Oh, that has nothing to do with leadership. I did physically kick an old lady.
I assure you, everyone believes about me. I would never, by the way. I love my stuff.
No, I literally took an old lady by the ear and kicked her as I walked her out the door. That wasn't leadership. That was horrible lapse of professionalism. I was so angry. And there's a reason why you've never seen me angry.
I've seen you angry.
No, you haven't. You just think you have.
I've seen you angry.
No, you haven't. You've never seen me angry. Because I haven't been angry in about 20 years. I can't afford to get angry. When I get angry, I lose 1,000% of my shit. And I lost 1,000% of my shit that day and literally pushed her out the door onto gravel.
That's a leadership regret. You regret that.
I probably shouldn't tell that story. People would think a lot less of me.
It was a long time ago.
Oh, it was 30 years ago.
It was a long
30
time
years.
ago.
And I was threatened. She threatened me with something that was just asinine, and it just flew all over me. And I do regret it. Honestly, as people get, I'm fortunate now that I don't get bent about things employees do anymore. I try not to even get bent about things that partners do, which is harder sometimes.
That's way harder.
Yeah. But I never get bent about what employees do. I try to get bent about what people do, because you never know what that person's going through in their life in that particular day. And, a lot of times when an employee's a bad employee for you, 80% of the time it's my own damn fault.
I think that's just about every single business owner, employer out there. 80 to 85% of the time, it's 100% your fault. The rest of the time, it's 100% your fault because you didn't get rid of them.
We need to do a podcast on what Mark Ford taught me about the 4 different kinds of people in a company.
The Agora guy, right?
It's an amazing lesson.
I love that.
It's an amazing lesson. And normally there's 4 different kinds of employees in a business, and oftentimes
don't tell too much about it.
But oftentimes you just have that person in the wrong bucket. You think they're a profit producer when really they're a taskmaster. You think they're a manager when really they're a revenue generator. Mm-hmm. There's 4 different roles, and if you get them in the wrong role, they can't succeed. We tend to want to place people where we think they should go. Oftentimes we just place people where we have a need. Somebody walks in the door and you go, okay, you're a warm body. I need somebody here. And there's no real pairing. It's very much like marketing, right? The message to market match doesn't work. When you take a person and put them into a role they're not built for, they're going to try, generally speaking. I think most of the time, most employees are good. I think most of the time, most people are good. I think they just are in sometimes bad situations. And oftentimes as employers, we put them in them and handcuff them to the desk. We interrupt this pod to bring you this really special announcement. You need to go right now. Well, maybe do they want to go right now? Want to stop?
No, at the end. We don't want to have them stop.
Go to trainwreckshow.com. There's lots of bots there, GPT bots that do things for you, that do a lot of your work. So you don't have to work so much and drink more beer. The episode archives are over there. There's all of our resources, worksheets, workbooks. Everything that we've done that we give away is over there. Go get it right now. There's a lot of resources there. Way more resources than you get when you buy a lot of communities, I think.
And don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can catch every episode as soon as it hits. We'll send you a notification.
It doesn't mean you're liking Emma, by the way, because I know that slows us down on our likes. You can just click and say, I like Perry. You don't have to like Emma. It works the same way.
For me, my biggest leadership regret is...
I can't believe you made me admit I kicked a woman.
Oh, God. I saw the question and I couldn't wait.
It's the only time I've ever struck a woman in any physical way in my life. or a person, hardly. I get in a couple of fights. I always get beat up.
That I believe. For me, my biggest leadership regret, from my standpoint, for where I live in the business world, development of people is such a huge thing for me. I really, really love developing other human beings, being able to take them from where they're at to where they were meant to be is just so rewarding to me. It's more than anything else I do. I love it the most. And I'm really tough on people, but people who work directly under me generally hate me. They're gone in 90 days, or they absolutely adore me and they stay forever. I've had 2 people under me where I really liked them. Like, I genuinely liked them and I wanted them to succeed, and they weren't capable of succeeding, not in the role that they chose. And instead of letting them go when I should have, it happened to me twice. I recognized it and I said I was never going to do it again. And immediately I realized what was happening with the other one, because they were both kind of placed at the same time. I thought I could turn it around. And you just can't make someone capable who's not. And there are certain things that you can't teach. And I knew that I couldn't, but I still decided I wanted to try, because honoring the friendship was more important to me. It was very, very stupid. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for them, rather. It was for me. And I kept telling myself it was for them, but it was for me. It's because it felt very uncomfortable to fire them. You're not doing anyone any favors by leaving them in a position where they can't succeed.
I've been very lucky. I know of at least 10 people that have worked for me. Most of them came to work as interns that are now millionaires, that do very, very well, that became entrepreneurial and went on their own and did really well.
Yeah. I have a track record of turning people into C-suite, upper management, directorships.
I had one guy, I'll tell you a funny story. Talk
Chief
about
officers.
failure in leadership at Digital Marker, a guy that worked for me for a while, and I picked on him constantly. And if you know me, if I'm picking on you, it's because I see something in you. So I tend to prod those people.
Well, you have 2 types of picking. One,
If I don't like you, I just don't talk to you.
No, you have 2 types of picking. You have the, I see something in you, so I'm going to pressure test you constantly. And then you have the annoyed by someone, so you're just going to try and take down their self-esteem in every way possible. I've seen both. You do that.
This kid worked for us for a couple of years, and he decided to leave for another job. He went for his exit interview, and they asked, what was your favorite part of the job? He said 2 or 3 things. And they said, what was your least favorite part of the job? His least favorite part of the job was having to tolerate working with Perry Belcher.
I feel that one in my very soul.
And he proceeded to tell the person who did the exit interview that most days he went down to his car in his lunch hour and cried.
That does not surprise me.
I felt-
Meanwhile, you loved him.
I did. I loved it.
And you were fucking with him because you thought that he thought it was fun.
That absolutely destroyed me.
Yeah, I bet.
It really hurt. It really hurt me. And I called him, and he didn't really want to talk to me. Fast forward 5 years later.
He's a multimillionaire.
I get an email from him that says, hey, this is, I won't say his name.
I became a millionaire despite you, asshole.
I'm a senior product leader at Google.
Oh, God.
Every day, I use things at work that I learned from you, and it always makes me look like the smartest person in the room.
Love that.
Thanks so much for taking the time to poke the bear.
Love
to
that.
poke me. And it was really cool. That was such a relief to hear that, because that really messed with me. You don't know, by the way, as an employer or influencer, you have no idea how much influence you have. I've had 2 or 3 occasions where I've influenced people to do certain things, and they've done them. And I was kidding, or I was drunk.
I love the drunk ones.
I'm just giving this crazy advice. I had a friend of mine, he was telling me about dating this girl. I said, when are you going to make an honest woman out of that girl? He said, well, we're in counseling right now. I said, you're not married and you're in counseling? I said, you need to get that girl a hot dog and a roadmap. Dude goes to his hotel. You told me about another one I didn't know about. Goes to his hotel, calls the girl, tells her to move out of the house before he gets home, and broke up with the girl. And now he's married to the love of his life, and he says it's all because he dumped that girl.
The funny part is you won't even give people good advice unless you're drunk.
Who knows? She might have been great. I don't know. It wasn't necessarily good
He was in
advice.
counseling before he was even married. It was great advice.
I was just
Let's
talking
move on
shit.
because
I
we
don't
still
know.
have 2 more questions.
All
We
right.
still have 2 more questions.
All right.
If you could build a business today with 0 pressure to scale, what would it be? This was actually to me. not to you.
I don't understand that question.
Yeah, I do.
Why anybody want to build a business that had...
So I understand it because we talked in another episode about making sure it was a scalable business, operationally, logistically, inventory, fulfillment wise. I think that's why the question came in. So if you could build a business today without worrying about how to scale it or what to scale, it just excited you basically. You weren't going to do the whole back end that I do to make sure that we're going to be able to scale it without a bunch of stress and nonsense. What business would it be?
What would be the point of building a business?
There would be no point at all. There would be none. For you and I, there would be none.
This is just
But
what would I like to get up and go do every day?
That's a better way of saying it. But that was the point.
I don't own a bra store.
You don't own a bra store.
I don't know what I'd do. I can't imagine. That doesn't even compute in my little mouse brain.
I understand why it doesn't. I, too, would never in a million years start a business that I haven't thought about scale.
Dude,
but I'm gonna answer it in a light that I believe the person writing in wanted us to answer it as, if I could make any business scale with no worry or issue, like what would I like to get into if scaling wasn't a problem. I'm gonna answer it that way because I can't answer it the other way. The way that they worded it, I just wouldn't.
Well, business is...
That's called a fucking hobby.
Well, business is torture.
Right.
And business is warfare. It's
right.
torture. And if you think it's anything less, then you're a dumbass. And you should not even attempt it. It's warfare. To do a business as a hobby, I think... I'm
gonna play along because I'm a good person.
Cool.
I'm gonna tell you about a business that I actually wanted to start. My husband and I wanted to start together, and then I looked at the scalability factor and said, "Fuck no, this is never gonna work. We'll have a great time." Something that my husband and I really love to do is camp and hike. Mm-hmm. We absolutely adore. We don't ever get to do it anymore, but when we first got together, we would go on these 4 or 5 day trips, and we would bring 20 of our friends to places like Caprock Canyons, Colorado Bend State Park. These are all places in Texas.
Excuse me.
And so we would bring 20, 30 people to camp for a few nights, and I knew all the trails, so we'd take them trails. We had all the equipment. They just kind of showed up with their clothes, and they had their tents and everything set up for them. And we did this just because we enjoyed our friends, and so we thought we should build a business off of this. If didn't have any worry about scale, I had all the money in the world and didn't care about making more money because I fell and bumped my head or I knew I was going to have an aneurysm soon, I would probably start a business where I took people camping and hiking. I know that I'm dying.
I might own a honky-tonk about it.
Yeah, I've just been marked terminal, 6 months left. And so I just want to
turn through your cash.
I don't want to leave anything to my kids.
I want the check to the funeral home bounce.
I don't want to leave anything to my kids, so I would just want to spend it, and I will probably take people.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that's the only way that I can answer that question.
I can't wait to not go do that with you. That's my idea of hell.
I'm sure getting on a hiking trail and shuffling along with your grandpa. Oh, shit. All right, last question, Perry. Yeah. I knew that one would be fun with you because I knew you would be like, what? How do you want to be remembered in the world?
Oh, I don't give a shit. Nobody's going to remember me. I'm irrelevant as hell. We're all irrelevant. I watched somebody the other day going through this sequence, and it was quite depressing. but when you die, there'll be, when somebody dies, let's say the natural cause is a reasonable age, hopefully your spouse is there, your kids are there, some friends are going to go to your funeral, they're going to go to your house, they're going to eat some food. It's going to be very somber, and somewhere along the day, somebody's going to crack a joke, and there's going to be a little giggle about something. There's going to be a memory that's funny. And then by 5 o'clock, all the friends went home. They're back to their lives tomorrow. Your kids might stay a few days.
Our kids aren't going to stay.
To make sure that, if your spouse, to make sure your spouse is okay, make sure things in the house got, they're going to go home. And your spouse is going to be left there with a memory. And after a few weeks or a few months they're going to eventually start gathering up your things and getting rid of them. In the first year, somebody might call somebody else and go, this is the day last year Dad died. Do you remember that? Yeah, and maybe there'll be a little discussion about it. They probably won't do that in the second year. And that's it. That's it. So live like you're dying, baby. That's the secret. The legacy that you live, everybody wants to leave a legacy, and I just don't think especially today. There was a time where it was a bit different, where we had a certain reverence for that. I go to the Philippines a lot, and a lot of countries, Halloween, or what we celebrate as Halloween, is called All Saints Day, and they go to the graveyards, and they go to the graves of the families, and they talk about them, and they whatever. We don't do that in the United States. I mean, nobody goes to graveyards. One blue moon, somebody goes to the graveyard. It doesn't happen, and I think we care less and less about people that pass on. I don't really worry about legacy. I don't think about it. I wouldn't mind. I want to try to pump out a couple of books. I wrote a book for my kids. I wrote a book called Secret Selling System, and I did a course called Secret Selling System. It's the best work I ever done up to that point. And the reason I made it so good, I said, I'm going to teach everything I've learned to this point in life so that my kids can have it. It's video. It's audio. Do you know how many of my 4 children
None of them
have absorbed it?
None of them.
0,
None.
right? And it's everything I've learned in hard knocks, good luck, bad luck, everything I ever did in business and life, even life lessons, right? Things like how do you choose business partners, how people think, and human psychology and behavior. All these things that I've learned from countless thousands of fucking hours of study. And I poured it all out into about 24 hours, right? They don't give a shit. So it's like, it's just crazy. And I get good kids. I'm not faulting my kids for it. They just have their own lives and their own directions that they're going. And I think that, we can foolishly want that because we want to be immortal somehow. Everybody wants to be immortal. I don't care. I don't care if they remember me. I think I'll be remembered for some bad jokes. I think they'll be laughing
Marmalade.
for a few years. Remember that time Dad did that stupid ass thing? I think they'll talk about that for a little bit, maybe. And so what? What does it make to me? I'll be dead as fried chicken. I don't care.
I expected your answer to be very different.
Really?
Yeah, it very much aligns with mine. And it's really funny how much they align. Mine is, if you think about...
That's a depressing fucking episode.
I know. If you think about...
We can talk about titties or something in a minute just to wrap this thing up.
If you think about, like, the awful things that happened October 7th.
Right.
In Israel. All these people that are still hostages. You know what happened? The whole world went on.
Yeah.
When you think about the Ukrainian war and the thousands of people that were dying, you know what happened? The whole world went on.
World War II, World War I, Vietnam, Korea, all of them.
The Great Depression, the plagues.
11.
The world went on.
The world goes on.
So why on earth would I even think for a moment that anyone would even think about me?
Shit that is me.
My parents were very important to me. I loved them very, very, very deeply. My father was the closest thing I've ever been to another human, and I have never engaged with another human in the way that I did my dad. And his passing was awful and terrible, but now all these years later, I think of them less and less. Mm-hmm. But when I do think of them, I feel a little sad. It's like, I wish I could call my mom, or I wish I could see my dad. I kind of hope I'm just not remembered.
I think legacy, if there could be any legacy at all, my Uncle Verge and my Aunt Eve, people that taught me these little snippets, these little, let me tell you something, Perry Mark. You making plenty of money, my Aunt Eva? You making good money right now? Yes, ma'am, I sure am. You saving a bunch of it? Yes, ma'am, I sure am. Can I give you some advice? This is my only rich relative, by the way. She said, can I give you some advice? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, spend that fucking shit. Because I'm 84 years old. I got all this money, and I don't want a fucking thing. Spend it. Because otherwise, people just be clamoring to see how much of it they can get when you die. Little lessons like that. I'll always remember her as being an amazing lady. I'll always remember my dirty uncle. I tell dirty Uncle Verge stories all the time. My Uncle Verge is a real person. But all his little dirty jokes and lessons that he taught me. One time, I think I was about 18. I was sitting in a little cafe, and this woman came in the cafe. It was with Uncle Verge. We're getting a hot dog. This woman comes in the cafe. She is just stunning. Like one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. And she's probably 30. I'm an 18-year-old kid. Go and get that woman's phone number. That woman's not going to talk to me, Uncle Verge. She's beautiful. Look at her. And Uncle Verge looks at me and says, boy, she shits out of her asshole just like you do. Get your ass up and go over there and get that girl's phone. And she gave it to me. And I've taught my boys stuff like that. That's a crass statement. But I remember these things. I thought of him the other day, right before he passed. I moved to Michigan when I was a little older and lived with him one summer. He hadn't had a garden in years. He always had a big garden. He moved to Michigan from Kentucky. And he always had a big garden. He couldn't make a living in Kentucky, so he went and worked at the automotive plants. He had a big garden for years, and then he got too old. He couldn't do it anymore. And the last year that I was there was the last year that he lived. I went out and broke up his garden and planted a garden. He and I worked in the garden all summer together. He would sit and tell me stories while I planted stuff and harvested stuff. And he told me, boy, make your money and go back to Kentucky and get you a farm and some land. There's no better life in the world. And right now, I want to go buy a farm. I think he's right. There's like just certain lessons and wisdom in people that there'll be these little moments.
Right. They're
not big, but I think, maybe I get remembered for a moment or two. Guess what? If I don't, what difference is it going to make?
Because you're dead.
I'm dead.
But to go back to what I was saying, just to kind of finish my thoughts, I don't want to be remembered in the sense of my children looking back and being sad or having people think, because that's generally what happens is you think about someone that's passed and you're sad about it. I would love for my impact to come through without sadness. So like the people that I was able to help develop into leaders, hopefully they're able to impact other people that are able to develop into leaders. The products that we put out, I don't really work with people who I don't believe in their products. I think that like our Ignite Mastermind, really, I believe it helps people. I believe it empowers people.
Oh, there have been people that really had breakthroughs in there.
Oh, yeah. I think it empowers people. I think it brings people together. I think that as entrepreneurs and business owners, oftentimes we feel so alone. Yeah. Our families don't understand us. We work ridiculous hours. Our spouses don't understand us. And we get to create a community of people that get to network and be together and not feel so alone.
I feel so foreign.
Yeah. You have a great idea and you're struggling. We can help you take this product that's a great product and good for people and get it out there to people. You can make some money and help some people.
Ignite. We have two mastermind groups that run Ignite, another one called Driven. Driven's for people already doing multi-millions of dollars a year. And I enjoy that group a lot. I enjoy the Ignite group too. And I used to coach Little League Baseball. I've told you this a few times. I coached Little League Baseball for a couple of years. I was a terrible baseball player. When I played Little League Baseball, I wasn't very good. I'm not athletic. But while the head coaches would always work with the really talented kids, I always took the kids that had never hit the ball or never caught the ball, and we'd go out back and we would practice and practice and practice. There was nothing more rewarding than watching that kid who had never hit the ball the first time they hit a ball in a game. They were so surprised that he hit it.
That's Ignite. That's Ignite Mastermind.
That's Ignite Mastermind. And it's crazy what happens. As soon as they hit that ball, man, they want to get back on them. They want to get back in the batter's box again. Yeah. We've got, a bunch of people in the group that didn't even have a nucleus of an idea, really.
Right.
Look at people like Neff and, this killing it right now.
Yeah.
Did you hear the thing they just sold $15,000 worth of in a day off of a crazy goofy idea that two of them got together and
people who were making $60,000-$70,000 a year having $20,000 and $30,000 months.
Yeah.
It's their business.
Yeah. And the pride that comes with that versus the guys in Driven. And I love my Driven folks, don't get me wrong. But the guys in Driven, it's like, yeah, man, we did 30 million last year, and it looks like we're only going to do 24 million.
Oh,
what the hell's going on?
I know that does.
It's much less motivating for me.
That gets me. I personally love Driven.
I love Driven.
I
learn more in Driven than anywhere else.
I love the accountability that Driven has and Driven members have on each other. I love the sharing of failure.
Sometimes it's just being in the room.
Yeah.
You can
share
you can
failures.
grow a lot by osmosis.
Sit in a room with people who are doing 10 million, 60 million, 100 million. One guy's doing 500 million and listen to their failures. I learned more from that than anything else.
I like how Ed Milet's saying, you can't stay at 70 degrees in a degree room. I swear to God, that's true. Frank Kern and I are pretty good buddies. He moved from Macon, Georgia to La Jolla, California. And we were sitting talking. I said, how in the fuck did you go from Macon, Georgia to La Jolla, California? He had flown out to La Jolla to meet with a guy he admired in marketing. I'm pretty sure it's Andy Jenkins. And he said, I just looked around here and everybody's driving a Rolls Royce, everybody's driving a Ferrari. In Macon, everybody's driving a pickup truck. I just figured that if I moved out here in the midst of all these people, I would probably do better than I did in Macon.
It's so true.
And he moved to La Jolla, California, and 5x his income in a year.
Yeah.
He said, you just couldn't be in this environment and not want to do well. And you could be back in Macon and be very comfortable with a lot less. But comfort, I promise you this, and you can write this down. Comfort is the opposite of progress. If you're comfortable, you will not make a great deal of progress.
I know, I agree. Yeah. You should always feel, this is one of the reasons I stay married to Gabe. He spends all my money. I have to make
it keeps you motivated. Well, that's why I've been married so many times.
No, I'm staying married because I don't want to give half away to the person who can spend it all.
Back and ran a thing when my buddy, oh gosh, who was at the house? Cliff was at the house. We're sitting around drinking.
Port wine, I'm sure.
And we start writing down when I got divorces and how much I gave away in those divorces. Had I taken the money that I've given away in divorces and put that money in the S&P, I would have $61 million today.
Oh, that's not bad. I would have thought it would be way more than that.
$61 million.
You got 4 kids.
I don't give a shit. You know what I won't be?
You got 4 kids.
I will not be unhappy one day.
No.
If I'm unhappy one day, gotta go.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot for being on Trainwreck today. The most depressing episode we've ever done.
I could throw something at you to make.
Ow.
There you go.
That wasn't very nice. That wasn't even funny.
It was hysterical.
It wasn't funny.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, so welcome to the depressing Trainwreck show. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's a good episode. It's all right. If you don't like it, you don't have to pay. That's the good news. If you'd like a bunch of free gifts, you like a bunch of GPTs, software, trainings, lessons, book, all that stuff, it's all at trainwreckshow.com. It's all free for you guys.
We do have a lot of freebies in there.
Yeah, just go grab it. I think you're going to really enjoy it. And
make sure to like and subscribe. You know?
Yeah,
or put your thumbs down. If you just like seeing Perry get hit by things, do a thumbs down and I'll just do it more often.
Thank you a lot for being on Trainwreck.